Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In case you haven't subscribed to this channel already, please consider subscribing since I'm releasing weekly tennis content. Even though the tennis content I'm releasing right now is not strictly related to active tennis being played, because it's obviously not. Uh, I can assure you that when I started doing this channel a few months back, I did not think, I couldn't even consider that during the Indian Wells tournament, during the Sunshine Double Time, I'm going to talk about why tennis is not being played. This completely looked impossible a few months back. I'm sure you guys feel the same way, but nonetheless, I thought about what it means not to have the tennis events played, what the impact is, and I've done some research during the years and the 20th century, maybe even the late 19th century, when Wimbledon, US Open, French Open, Australian Open have not been held. So there are not too many cases actually, which is a little bit surprising, I would say. So during the First World War, the Aussie Open was cancelled for 3 years, 1915, 16 and 17. French Open was also cancelled from 15 to 19, I think. Yeah. And Wimbledon was also cancelled from 1915 to 1918. What's also interesting that the US Open did not cancel at all. And then later, during the Second World War, Aussie Open cancelled from 1941 to 45. French Open 1940. The French Open, even though they had no tournament played in 1940. And this is just confirming what I said before, that it had to be something really extraordinary for the tournament not to be held. From 1941 to 1945, they had some internal French competition played. So even though it was not a Grand Slam event, but they still played the tennis. So that's quite fascinating. In 1940 and 45, during that period, Wimbledon wasn't played. And at the US Open, this was very surprising to me. They did not stop organizing the tournament during the Second World War at all either. So the US Open is really going ahead no matter what, it seems. So considering all these events that took place, there were not too many times, as I said, that tournaments were cancelled. I think we're living through pretty serious times right now, that because of the spread of this coronavirus, tournaments are not held. The calendar is a little bit of a mess right now. The ATP has decided to freeze the rankings until they're going to resume the tennis season, which is supposed to be June the 8th. Until then, the rankings are going to be frozen. ATP, WTA came out together and made a joint statement that they're suspending both tours until June the 8th, which seems to be the right choice to be made. It's the precautionary measure that needs to be taken at a point like this. The French Open has reacted and they've picked a new date for their tournament. For the French Open, it's supposed to happen 1 week after the US Open. It's supposed to be starting on the 20th of September, and they should be finished on the 4th of October. So this is a very unusual situation. People are not players, I should say, not particularly happy about the way the decision has been made, because the French Tennis Federation has not consulted anybody. They just announced that they're going to put a new date on the French Open. This is also intersecting with the Laver Cup then. So definitely not an ideal situation. I'm really happy if they can manage to play all the 4 slams during 2020, because it would be a shame that we look back at 2020 year that, okay, only the Aussie Open was played because of the coronavirus. It would be really bad to see that happens. On the other hand, this just shows you how serious the situation is. If you have a crisis like this, and the tennis tournament is going to be cancelled because of that. I've looked hard for other years when it should have been or could have been cancelled, One of them was the 1986 Aussie Open when it was cancelled, but it was simply because of a schedule change. So they decided not to have it in December as it used to be before 1986. They decided to move it to January, so obviously there was a 1 year gap. For instance, there was another interesting case in 1973 when 81 of the top 100 players boycotted the tournament, the men's tournament, because Niki Pilic, back then playing for Yugoslavia, was banned for 8 or 9 months because not wanting to participate and not playing in a Davis Cup tie against New Zealand. The ban was reduced to 1 month, but still that prevented him from playing Wimbledon. And the then formed ATP, the Men's Tennis Association, considered that this is not right, and players are showing a great deal of solidarity towards Pilic and their own playing rights, that they should be able to choose where they play and when they play. So imagine back then 12 of the first 16 seeds have given up their spots and did not play the 1973 Wimbledon. And even like that, the tournament was held, it was played, they went on and they did play it. Even though the conditions definitely would not be ideal for the French Open 2020 on the 20th of September, if the schedule resumes and play is going to resume, and the US Open is going to be played, and just having 1 week break and coming back to Europe, switching from hardcourt to clay is definitely not optimal. Doing it in such a short period of time. Also the jet lag switch from one time zone to the other, it's definitely not ideal. But for the fans and for the low ranked players, I think getting into the draw of the French Open, getting the prize money, getting the paychecks, it's going to be good. And for the average tennis fan who loves his tennis, I think it's a good sign to show that, okay, we can still manage to recover and organize tournaments, the biggest tournaments of the year still for 2020. So I think that would be a relief to everybody. On the other hand, you can certainly understand the concerns. The World Health Organization, the measures which are being taken, the advice that is given out for everybody to stay safe, washing hands, making sure that you don't go to crowded public places, and the best thing for everybody to do right now to stop the spread of the virus is staying home. So this is something we definitely should consider and adhere to, basically. Yeah, so those have been my thoughts on the current situation. Please comment below if you have questions. And yeah, very important, please don't forget to subscribe. And in case the particular topics you would like me to tackle during the time off, what we have until June, then please let me know. Stay tuned. See you next time.